Welcome to the Direct Lending Connection podcast, your premier source for unparalleled financial insights tailored for elite business owners, international entrepreneurs, and real estate investors. Whether you're running a thriving enterprise, scaling up your real estate portfolio, or looking for the next big opportunity, this podcast is your go-to resource for cutting-edge knowledge and strategic advice that keeps you ahead of the competition. Now, for today's episode, join us as we delve into the world of non-recourse loans.
Sometimes I think about all the different ways there are to, manage your money. And I realize most people only know the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, all right.
We're diving into something today that I think fits that perfectly. We've gotten some sources from you guys about non-recourse loans. And I got to say, this stuff is pretty wild.
Yeah.
It's like there's this whole hidden part of the financial world that most people don't even know exists. A place with totally different rules. It's honestly kind of exciting, the possibilities.
Yeah, definitely. And honestly, the idea of a non-recourse loan, it sounds really complicated.
Right.
But it's a pretty simple idea once you break it down. You might also hear them called limited recourse loans.
Okay.
But they mean the same thing. Basically, it's when if you can't pay back the loan, the lender can only take what you put up as collateral.
Okay.
That's it.
So, imagine you want to buy a building, right?
Right.
You get a non-recourse loan to do it.
Yeah.
Then, for whatever reason, you just can't pay the loan back anymore. What happens then?
Okay, so in that situation, the lender could take the building back because that was the collateral.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all they can take. They can't go after your personal stuff, like your other money or investments or anything like that.
That's huge.
Yeah, the big difference here is that you're only risking the collateral, not everything you own.
So that sounds like a pretty great deal. Especially, for someone who's starting a business or an investor who's willing to take some risks, right?
Right.
But the thing is, if these loans are so good, why don't we hear about them more? Why aren't they advertised everywhere? Why doesn't my financial advisor tell me about them?
That's a really good question. And the answer has a lot to do with who usually gets these types of loans.
Okay.
We're talking about people with a lot of money, big institutions, the kind of folks who can walk into a bank and deposit $50 million.
Wow.
Or even $750 million into their private banking accounts.
Okay, so these are serious players, not your average Joe.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the sources we looked at actually had this great example that really helps explain it. Imagine someone deposits $10,000 into their checking account.
Mm-hmm.
That money's always moving around, right?
Right. Paying bills, buying stuff, maybe a little investing.
Exactly. It's what they call non-sticky money because it doesn't stay in one place for very long.
Makes sense.
But now imagine someone walks in and deposits, like we said, $50 million or even $750 million. That's a massive amount of capital that the bank can just kind of hold on to.
Right. That's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Right. It's sticky money. And for banks, that's really valuable.
So it's like the bank just hit the jackpot, like they found a gold mine.
Kind of, yeah. Having all that sticky money just sitting there, it gives them a lot of power.
But it's more than just having a big number on their balance sheet, right?
Right.
What do they actually do with all that money? How does it actually help them?
That's where the idea of leverage comes in. And that's why these massive deposits are so attractive to banks.
Okay, I've heard that word leverage thrown around before, but I'll admit I'm not exactly sure what it means in practice.
Sure.
Can you break it down for us?
Absolutely. Think of it like a seesaw.
Okay.
On one side, you have a little bit of weight. That's your initial deposit.
Mm.
On the other side, you've got a much bigger weight, and that's the loan that the bank's willing to give based on that deposit. Leverage is like the pivot point in the middle. It lets a small amount of force move something much heavier.
So the bank is basically using these big deposits to give out way bigger loans.
Exactly. It's all thanks to a system called fractional banking.
Okay.
Banks don't have to keep all the money people deposit just sitting around. They only have to hold on to a fraction of it.
Really?
Yeah, and the rest they can lend out to other people.
Wait, so they're making money out of thin air. That doesn't seem right.
Not exactly out of thin air. It's more like they're multiplying the impact of the money that's already there.
Okay.
So that $50 million deposit, it could turn into hundreds of millions of dollars in loans, which they can then use to finance businesses, give out mortgages, all sorts of stuff.
So they're using that initial deposit as like a foundation to build this whole huge lending program on top of it.
Right.
That's pretty powerful.
It is. And for banks, these non-recourse loans are like a win-win.
How so?
Well, they get access to all that sticky money from these huge deposits, right? And at the same time, they're attracting these wealthy clients who are looking for these unique loans.
So it's kind of like a self-perpetuating cycle.
Exactly.
But hold on a sec. Most of us aren't dealing with millions of dollars, right?
Right.
So why should we care about this? Why should the average person listening even pay attention to this stuff?
That's where it gets really interesting, because even if you never get a non-recourse loan yourself, understanding these concepts can completely change how you see the whole financial world. It's like you're getting a peek behind the curtain and seeing how it all actually works, and that knowledge can help you make better decisions.
So you're saying that even though this world of non-recourse loans and massive deposits might seem a world away, the principles at play still affect all of us.
Exactly. It's about understanding the tools and the strategies that are shaping the whole financial landscape, even if we're not using them directly.
Okay, that makes sense. So even though it's a bit of a secret world, it's worth knowing about.
Absolutely, because sometimes just knowing those tools exist can change how you approach your own finances.
That's a great point. We've covered a lot of ground here,
We have.
from non-recourse loans to leverage and fractional banking, but we've really only scratched the surface.
Right.
There's still so much more to uncover about this world of hidden financial strategies.
Definitely.
And I'm excited to dive deeper.
Me too.
All right, so we've talked about how non-recourse loans are usually only for like really rich people and big companies, right? It's like this exclusive club with special rules, you know?
Yeah.
But let's go back to that whole secrecy thing for a minute.
Okay.
Why are these loans kept so quiet?
Well, one of the articles you sent actually talks about how important privacy is in private banking.
Mm-hmm.
Those people and those companies, they don't really want everyone knowing about their money.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, they're dealing with millions and millions of dollars.
Exactly.
They probably don't want a lot of attention.
Right.
But what about the banks? Why wouldn't they want to advertise these loans to everyone?
It's partly about, like, keeping it exclusive. By offering these special services to just a few people, it makes it seem more prestigious, you know? It attracts a certain type of client. And it's also about managing risk.
Okay.
Non-recourse loans can be riskier for banks than regular loans.
How so?
Well, because they can only take the collateral if the borrower doesn't pay back the loan.
Right, right.
So they have to be more careful about who they give them to.
So it's not just about having money. It's about, like, knowing the right people, being in the right circles.
Yeah, kind of. It reinforces this idea that there's this whole financial world going on behind the scenes that most people don't even know about.
Okay, I'm starting to see the bigger picture now.
Yeah.
Even if most of us aren't swimming in millions of dollars, knowing about this stuff can still help us, right?
Right.
It's like having a secret decoder ring for the world of high finance.
Exactly. It can help you ask the right questions, maybe negotiate better terms on loans, and just think more strategically about your own money.
So you're saying it's not just about trying to become a millionaire. It's about learning the rules of the game, so to speak.
Exactly.
And using those rules to your advantage.
Right. Even on a smaller scale.
That's pretty cool. Okay, so if we had to sum up the most important things for our listeners to remember about this, what would they be?
First, don't be scared off by all the fancy financial terms.
Okay.
The more you learn, the more you realize it's all about understanding a few basic ideas.
Right.
Second, stay curious. Keep looking into different financial strategies, even the ones that seem way out of reach. You never know, you might find something that could really help you out later on.
I like that.
And finally, remember, knowledge is power.
True.
The more you know, the better decisions you can make about your money.
Love it. Stay curious, stay informed, and never stop learning.
Exactly.
But before we move on, I've got to ask, if banks can make so much money from these huge deposits, you know, using leverage and all that, are there other opportunities out there like this?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Things that we just don't know about.
That's the exciting part, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's always more to learn, more to discover. The financial world's always changing. There are always new strategies and tools being created.
So it's like there's a whole secret menu of financial options that most people don't even know exists.
Exactly.
And just knowing about those options, just knowing they're out there,
Yeah,
that can change everything.
for sure.
It really does feel like there's this, like, whole other level to finance that most people just, you know, they never even get to see.
I think that's a really good way to put it. And it's not necessarily about, you know, being rich or part of some elite group. It's more about, you know, being informed, understanding the options that are out there.
So much of what we've talked about today has been about knowledge, like understanding how these financial tools actually work, even if, we're not personally using them. It's about being able to make smart decisions with our own money.
Absolutely. And that's what makes exploring these topics so exciting. It opens up a whole new way of thinking about money, about what's possible, about how to approach your own financial journey.
This whole deep dive has definitely given me a lot to think about, that's for sure.
Good.
I feel like I've gotten a whole new perspective on how the financial world works. And I'm already seeing how some of these ideas could apply to my own life.
That's great. And that's just the beginning. There's always more to learn, more to explore.
So as we wrap up, what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away from all of this today?
I'd say never underestimate the power of knowledge and curiosity. The more you learn about the world of finance, the more control you have, You can make better decisions and create the financial future that you want.
That's a perfect way to end things. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into non-recourse loans in the world of high finance. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and remember, the most valuable asset you have is your own knowledge and, that willingness to keep asking questions.
Thank you for tuning into the Direct Lending Connection podcast, where knowledge meets opportunity and empowers your business journey. If you found value in today's episode, be sure to subscribe, rate, and leave a review on your preferred podcast platform. Your feedback fuels our commitment to bringing you more high-impact insights and actionable advice. For exclusive content and upcoming episodes, and to connect with our network of industry experts, visit directlendingconnection.com. Remember to subscribe here on YouTube and follow us on Facebook for the latest updates and bonus material. Until next time, stay proactive, stay informed, and keep building your path to financial excellence. The Direct Lending Connection podcast, your trusted partner in navigating the complex world of business finance. We'll see you in the next episode.